Hello, and welcome back. So I'm sitting here in the car, listening to music. I'm actually working right now, waiting for, I do deliveries. And this thought keeps coming in my mind. I made a video yesterday that is similar to the topic I'm going to talk to you about now. And an extremely important point and key when it comes to having the right state of mind, the energy, whatever you want to call it, to achieving anything you want to achieve in your life. You see, I've found that the thing that holds us back the most is that there's this personality inside of us. There's an aspect of inside of us of this inner being that is extremely private. I'm going to try to put this into words best I can. It's hard to explain these sort of things. It's a very private self inside yourself. And this inner self often complains when it has to do things that it doesn't like to do. This inner self is often in fight internally with the things it calls work, or anything that takes away time from it, anything that takes away from its sense of freedom. This inner self wants to be completely unbound. It wants to have complete freedom and complete reign over the physical world, the physical self, and its actions. So when you're a teenager, this inner self will be in fight against your parents when your mom wants you to wake up to go to school, for example. This inner self, this inner voice, will feel in conflict when your loved one reminds you to do the dishes. This inner self will come up with all kinds of clever justifications to have itself feel above either a situation or the person that it feels the againstness towards, if that makes any sense. This inner voice, this inner self, is the real block, the only real thing, and I say real, it's not real, but it's the only thing that really holds us back from achieving anything in life. Not only does it want full, complete reign over itself, but it doesn't want you to do anything that will take any of its freedom away. It wants full freedom inside of you, and it wants full freedom outside of you. If you left it all to this voice, it would do nothing but indulge in pleasure all day long. It would sleep too long. It would take forever to go to bed. It would take forever to wake up. It would always eat too much. It would smoke too much. Everything would be in excess. It is the voice inside of you that says more. It is the voice inside of you that needs to justify its decisions and feel superior in some way or another. It is the voice of fight and resistance itself. It looks outwardly as though it's always being attacked. And yesterday, I made a video about certain techniques that you can use to regain this, to regain a space. I used that word, I explained it, in that way, to regain a certain space inside yourself that you can then fill with the things that you want to achieve in your life. So for example, I used the example of every hour or every 3 hours or so, giving yourself approximately 5 minutes every 3 hours where you watch your breath. A type of activity that you can do inside yourself while you're doing whatever you are doing outside in the world, so that you can build a habit and clear some inner space of a gap of time. Your brain becomes trained to let go of its complete control over its inner space. So I gave a few examples on how to do that, and I found that in my experience, when it comes to manifestation, when it comes to actually being happy, when it comes to feeling peaceful, even more than happy, when it comes to feeling at ease and at peace inside yourself. I just turned down the music, I hope it's not too loud. Because that voice inside yourself is constantly, it's like a little baby. And yesterday I used the voice of, or the example of a dog that you need to train. You can also use the example of a young child that's always complaining about not getting its way. And a young child that even when it gets its way, it doesn't seem to be happy with what it has. The only way to really, I want to say conquer, but you're not trying to conquer this. The only way to have this aspect of you lose control a bit, loosen its grip on you, is to develop activities that use a sort of sustained, that use a sustained, focused attention. If you can make a habit of making your brain focus on something for a certain period of time, and once it gets used to that, then that inner aspect, that inner voice will be accustomed to letting go control over you for the amount of time that you're training it. So I'll give you an example. I've done practices for years now where every 10 minutes of every hour I would dedicate my attention to a specific focus. For me, mostly was Reiki. In Reiki, we use symbols. You draw these symbols either physically or in your mind's eye, and then you try to keep your attention on the symbol and where you place it. So you keep your attention on the symbol and where it is in the body, and then you listen to whatever effects come in a state of openness. So that's just one way. This is the way that I practice it the most often. And when I do this, not only do I feel a sense of calm, but I notice that it clears a space inside my mind. From doing this for so many years now, the voice inside my head that used to complain about little things is almost non-existent anymore. It's as though that inner voice, you can see it two ways, has either grown up and matured, or you can see it as it died. Like a breakup, at a certain point in your life, when you notice something is not good for you anymore, someone is not good for you anymore, you need to leave them behind when you see that they're holding you back. And I could see from doing these practices that once I gained a bit of space, I could see what it was actually doing to me, because I noticed the value of this new space that I now had in my mind. I could use it to whatever it is that I wanted to do. I could see that by giving that inner voice inside of you full control to do whatever it wants, that was the thing that held me back from feeling peaceful, because it always wanted more and it was always complaining, always in a negative state, and also doing the things that bring happiness into my life. Any type of big dream or vision that you want to accomplish, something that's bigger than you, if you want to have the mind, the space inside of you to be able to commit to those types of bigger things in life, then you need to have a certain discipline over the mind itself. And that's really what this video is about. I want to share really what works for me. And I want to say, because I know that I don't want to just, it works for anyone. The brain works, even though we're all different in a lot of ways, we're also very similar in a lot of different ways, in a lot of ways as well. And when it comes to your brain, the ego, the inner voice inside of you, it requires a certain amount of discipline on the inside in order for you to commit to anything that eventually will spill out to the outside of you. So most of the time we focus in the wrong area in our lives. We'll concentrate on, trying a new habit, losing weight, all these different things, saving money, all these external things first. And that's the problem, because these types of things your inner voice, your inner little person is going to feel almost double restricted, because on the inside you're just going to be constantly in fight with what the inside wants, trying to focus on what you want on the outside. But I've found that it requires the inside space. It requires that voice inside of you to be almost non-existent or quiet, to move out of the way in order for you to achieve anything on the outside. And the more space you can create on the inside, the more energy you're going to have to do things on the outside. So this video is to help you to try for yourself. I want you to see for yourself, because this has been a miracle for me in my life. I want you to see for yourself that it's not about trying to do things on the outside, disciplining yourself by doing things outside yourself, but it's about that inner discipline where you may not see any change on the outside for some time. You might not even see it for a year or two. But eventually, when you clear enough space, it happens on its own. It doesn't feel like you have to try anymore. It feels just as though now I have all this extra energy that I can use to manifest the life and the dreams that I've always wanted to do, the things that my heart truly desires, to commit to something bigger than yourself in the world. So it's about having you turning in, being able to realize that you need to turn in. It's turning inward first, reclaiming a bit of inner space by having the mind have a bit of discipline and having your inner space mature, and dropping that inner child within you, the inner boy or the little girl. Ask yourself, and I did this often at the beginning of my journey, my spiritual journey, is the voice that's talking inside my head right now a boy, a young boy, or is it a man? Is this the voice of an immature child, or is this the voice of a mature man? If you're a woman, ask yourself the opposite, a woman, a man, whatever, a girl or a woman, or you could just say mature person. So ask yourself this often when you notice that you have a difficult time to commit to anything in your life, especially turning in. That's where you got to focus first. Is this the voice of a boy, or is this the voice of a man? And do I need this voice at all? wherever you are around the world, whatever time it is that you're watching this video. Thank you. Thank you. Sending it off. Thank you. I appreciate you. Peace.